Did you know that there's a new dim sum restaurant located right at the shopping mecca of Long Island in Westbury, New York? Hi, this is Arthur from the Minute Review Show. If you have a minute, I have an opinion. Royal Dim Sum is located in Sesame Mall, a mall that is slowly redeveloping with many new businesses. Royal Dim Sum is the latest addition. We arrived at around 11:30 on a Sunday morning and found a long line waiting for tables. After 20 minutes, we were finally seated in a comfortable booth. In this video, I'll show you what the food is like and more as I go through the dim sum one by one. Let's check this place out. Hi, this is Arthur from the Minute Review Show, and today I'm very excited. We're at a brand new restaurant here in Westbury, Long Island. We're in the Sesame Mall. It's actually a mall that's not full. There's a lot of empty spaces, but they're filling it up with some Asian businesses, along with the Cheesecake Factory. But today we're at a place called Royal Dim Sum. It's a pretty big dim sum restaurant. It's newly opened. It opened sometime in the middle of February of 2025, and I believe this is only the third week of operation. I'm coming here today to try their dim sum. We ordered about 8 different dim sums, and we're going to order a couple of more dishes, more of the traditional family style large dishes. So I also need to mention that since it's only been a few weeks that it's opened, you have to keep that in mind because there are always a few things that they need to work out when a restaurant is new. In fact, I experienced that today. I tried ordering the chung fan or the rice rolls, and they didn't have it, even though it said so on the menu. So yeah, things are pretty new. We're going to give what they have a try and come and take a look. When we arrived at Royal Dim Sum, we were presented with their dinner menu of all things. So here's the dinner menu. Okay, so the dinner menu shows that there's some soups, noodle soups. Here are the appetizers. I'll go through these pretty quickly. All Cantonese appetizers. Here's your noodle selection, your fried rice section, your fish section. Then you have some house specials. And then you have some more house specials. Yeah, even king crab and lobster. Some live fish. Then we have our beef selections. We have our chicken selections. We have seafood. And then we have pork selections, vegetarian selections, casseroles, congee. Wow, look at the prices of the congee, really cheap. And finally, we have our lunch specials. In addition to the dinner menu that we were presented with, we also have a takeout menu that we picked up from the front of the restaurant. So here's the information that you see on that menu. And when we turn the page, we're presented with a giant menu of dim sum. So these are the items that they offer. I'm slowly going to show you what they are. And they all seem to be ranging between $6.50 and $16. The more elaborate ones are over here. And then you also have these dim sums on the bottom, which are basically baked goods. And according to the menu, these items are not available after 3 p.m. Next, we have the regular items that you would take out. You have soups. You have some beef dishes, all under $24. You have chicken dishes, under $19. Then you have some pork and seafood dishes. The pork dishes are all under $19. Seafood dishes obviously are more expensive. One is even $46. Some vegetarian dishes are right below. Then we have some house specials. And the house specials tend to be pretty expensive. I'll slowly show you. And then we have some fish dishes, Cantonese casseroles, congee. We also have some noodle dishes. Those are all your fried noodle dishes, fried rice dishes, noodle soup dishes. All appear to be pretty affordable. under $20. And then we have these lunch specials that are only available from Monday through Saturday, and they're all $11.95. There appears to be maybe 40 different selections, so this is pretty big. Before the meal began, we were given some choices for tea. We were offered pu'er, piquanyam, also jasmine. So those were the three main teas that we were offered. And here's the pot, and here's the tea. Okay, today we ordered the piquanyam type of tea. Okay, today we ordered a variety of dim sums. Over here we have the Chow fan go. This should be the dumplings with the peanuts and pork. Next we have a, it looks like the ribs, the beef ribs. And next we have the spare ribs, the Cantonese spare ribs with the black bean sauce. As you can see, there's some black bean over here. And the next thing we ordered is the siu mai. The siu mai, I believe, this one is the shrimp and pork siu mai, but we're going to find out. Next we have the ha gao. The ha gao is the shrimp dumpling. Next we have the fong dao, which is the chicken feet. And then we have the beef balls. There's 3 beef balls over here with the tofu on the bottom. And then finally we have the sunjokyun, which is the pork and wrapped in the tofu skin. Okay, the first item that I'm going to try are the beef balls. Now this is called yun, I believe, and I'm going to dip it into the Worcestershire sauce that they provided. So here goes. It's dripping with the sauce. Okay. About these balls, when you're having beef balls, the most important thing is the texture, how bouncy it is. And this one does have a bounce, but what's interesting is that it's not super bouncy. I would say it's about a 5 out of 10, but the flavor is totally spot on. It tastes like a traditional beef ball. And as long as the flavor is there, it's a pretty decent beef ball. For those of you who know, beef balls are minced beef with some fat and maybe some aromatics in there, as you can see. Okay, now when you measure the quality of a dim sum, the first thing that you usually try is the ha gao, or the shrimp dumpling. So this is what it looks like. From what I can see, it's probably 1 3/4 inches long. Let's give this a try. Check out the quality. Okay. If you take a look in here, there are 2 whole shrimp, and some of it appears to be minced. Yeah, it's nice and crunchy, nice and fresh. And there's a lot of liquid in here, but there's nothing wrong with it. I like the flavor. It's salted well. You know how I love having salt in my food. That brings out the flavor. So this is good. Brings out the flavor of that shrimp. So yeah, that's a good example of a shrimp dumpling. Ha gao. The next item I'm going to try is the shrimp and pork siu mai. This is how it looks like. And let's squeeze a little bit. Okay, it's not very bouncy, so I'm going to have to give it a try. Now, as it turns out, this one is just a pork siu mai. On the menu, there's a shrimp and pork siu mai, and there's a regular siu mai. This turns out to be a regular siu mai. The flavor is good. There's adequate fat in here. And yeah, it tastes porky, tastes like your traditional siu mai. There's enough salt in here, once again, for the flavor. And yeah, very traditional and fine. Okay, the next item I'm going to try is the Chow fan go. Chow fan go is basically a pork and a peanut, along with other chopped vegetables, dim sum. This one is pretty big. I'm looking at it, 2.5 inches wide, and it's packed with a lot of stuff. Look how big this is. In fact, look, it even broke a little bit while I was holding it. So let's give this a try. This is excellent. You have plenty of chopped vegetables in here. And I do taste the peanuts and the pork. But what's interesting about this is that there seems to be a juice in here. Usually these aren't juicy, and they shouldn't be juicy, but There's some kind of gravy in here. And yeah, it's interesting. But you know, the gravy is flavored well. And I actually like this. I like this additional touch that they put into the Chow dumpling. Chow to Dumpling. It's interesting and tastes good. I want to talk a little bit about the dim sum situation in Long Island. Now, if you want dim sum on Long Island, I can probably think of maybe 4 other places on Long Island that have dim sum, that has reasonably good dim sum that's mainly served on carts or a hybrid of both. But the fact that Royal Dim Sum has opened, it gives Long Island the 5th genuine dim sum restaurant in the area. And you know, for an area whose demographics have been changing a little bit, you know, it's good to see that you know, opening places like this definitely does serve the community that's here. And you know, a lot of people they love dim sum. It's something that's easy to get, easy to like, and there's so many varieties. And you know, it's just a great gathering place. I'm looking around me at this restaurant. It's packed right now. It's around 12:30 now, and there are families here, multi-generational families. It's nice and loud. It's just lively, and I think in general we need more spaces like this because you know, it's just a nice gathering place where people could catch up, chat, and enjoy delicious food. Okay, the next item I'm going to try is the pork wrapped in tofu skin. Now this is called sinjokgun. You can see the pork in there. Usually this is a very wet type of item, even on the inside, and it should be crunchy. Let's try this. Okay, the texture is really good. It's very smooth. The minced pork is very smooth. I have a feeling that it's a little undersalted. It could be a little more salty, but that's okay. The skin is perfectly fine. The sauce is not gloopy, it's not thick. It's nice and thin and runny. And you can taste the mushrooms and the crunchy bits in there. So yeah, this isn't too bad, but I would have preferred them to put a little more salt, just a little bit more salt in there. The next item that I ordered is the short rib. Now this is what the short rib looks like. A little accident. So this is what the short rib looks like. From my touch, it's like a goopy, gluey sauce that's on this short rib. Let's see how it is. Okay. It has that peppery flavor, and the piece that I got is very chewy. I wish I chose a piece with more beef on it, but the flavor is definitely there. The most prominent flavor on this version is the pepper, black pepper, not white pepper. So it's kind of aromatic actually, pleasant to eat. But I wish that it was a little more beefy, but that's on me. Yeah, I like their version. It's a little different, but I like it. Okay, the next dim sum that we have is the black bean sauce and spare ribs. Now, these pieces tend to be coated with some cornstarch, and this one I can tell that it has been. So let's try this. I really love that. It's got the cornstarch, but I think this pork has been treated somehow and is nice and squishy, easy to eat. I love that peppery flavor, the white peppery flavor on it. And also, I don't visually see it, but I think there might be a like an orange peel or something in here, which is really old school. And I taste a hint of that. It's nice. Now they also added a pumpkin inside the spare rib dish. Let's try the pumpkin. Okay, it's creamy, a tad sweet, but it's nice. Usually they put taro in there, but the pumpkin does fine and absorbed all that delicious sauce. The final dim sum that I'm going to try today is the chicken feet. Now this is a classic Cantonese chicken feet, dim sum style. So here goes. This is really interesting. Normally when you have chicken feet, it comes with a very floppy sauce, a very thick sauce, fattens up with the cornstarch, but for some reason this is almost like a regular sauce, not a thick sauce that comes with this. The fact that the chicken feet uses a thinner sauce, that makes it different because most places are pretty thick. So yeah, it's always good to have different versions of this. Also, the flavor that I get, it's pretty conventional. It tastes like any other chicken feet. So yeah, this is slightly different, but not so out of the ordinary that it's not good. The next item I'm going to try is the sesame ball. This is actually our 9th dim sum. So the sesame ball has some kind of filling. And when we asked the waiter, he didn't know what kind of filling it is. So let's give this a try. Gonna break this open. And it just came out of the fryer. So look at the steam coming out of this. And let's try the skin. Oh, it's very thin, the skin. The sesames have a nice toasty flavor. Oh, this is interesting. The middle of this looks like a lotus seed paste, which is the lighter filling. Let's try this. Let's try everything in one bite. This is actually really good. I love the fact that the lotus seed paste is very smooth and also is not super sweet. And the paste itself doesn't have any chunks in it. It's really nice. So the sweetness and also the toastiness of the sesame seed make this very pleasant. And another big plus is that it just came right out of the fryer. Okay, now we arrived at this restaurant at 11 o'clock, so the kitchen is open to provide these family-sized dishes. This one is the beef pan-fried noodles. Now the beef pan-fried noodles usually have crispy noodles on the bottom. It has some toy sum or Chinese greens on top, and also it has slices of beef on top. So let's dig in a little bit and check out what they have on the bottom. So as you can see, the noodles are very heavily sauced, and the sauce here is actually a very thick, dark gravy. Sometimes the gravy is a little lighter, but this one is a dark gravy. Here are the crispy bits over here. And yeah, this dish seems pretty big. I wouldn't say it's the largest I've ever seen, but it seems adequate. And as I dig under the bottom, I see that there's plenty of sauce that has settled to the bottom. So yeah, this is, in terms of size, is not the biggest, but it actually looks pretty good. We're mixing up the noodles, and yeah, we're going to make a serving out of this. We're grabbing some of that crispy noodles, throwing it onto the plate, and we're grabbing some of that beef and Chinese vegetables. So yeah, as we're digging in, there is plenty of sauce, plenty of gravy in here. Okay, today we just ordered one kitchen-made item, basically a family-sized item. We chose the beef pan-fried noodles, and hopefully it's a representation of the food that we can get here that is family style. So here goes. I gave myself some carrot, some Chinese vegetables, and also some of the noodles and the beef. So let's try the noodles first. That gravy on the crispy noodles is very heavy on the soy sauce. Now this is going to be a first. You know how much I love salt? Well, this might be a little too salty. Dial it down by 10% and it would be perfect. But this is pretty good. Good quality noodles, nice and crunchy. Yeah. Next, let's try the beef. Now, they cut the beef into sensible slices. You know, this is about 1.5 inches. Nice and thin. Beef is excellent. Once again, velveted very well. Nice and bouncy. Easy to chew. Delicious. It absorbed all the saltiness from the gravy. Brings out the flavor of that beef. Let's try some of the veggies. Here's the carrot, well cooked. That's the choy sum, super fresh, not overcooked, perfect. Yes, I really like this. Let's have more of that noodle. That noodle is excellent. Nice and crispy. And the non-crispy parts are nice and soggy. It soaked up all that gravy. Very nice. And you know, I need to revise it a little bit. It's salty, but I would say 5% less, it would be a little better. But it's good. I like this. And now it's the time for your favorite part of the show. It is time for, ta-da, the star of the show. And today's star of the show, I had to choose amongst 9 different dim sums and 1 fried noodle. Now, which one did I choose? What rose to the top? Well, for me today, what rose to the top is this. And I'm going to show you what this is. You know what this is? This is the Chow or Chow dumpling. The Chow dumpling has the pork, has the crispy vegetables, and also peanuts. I chose that dish because it was different. Usually, when things are pretty ordinary, they're going to be ordinary. But with the Chow dumpling, there's one extra thing that they had that regular Chow dumplings don't have, which is a sauce or a little more moisture in the mixture. This particular Chow dumpling had a little more of that moisture, and I thought that it was excellent. It made it different, it tasted different, and it's a difference that I appreciate. And if you come to Royal Dim Sum, you should try that Chow dumpling. Okay, now the meal is over, and what a place. This place, Royal Dim Sum, has only been open since February 10th. I just asked the waiter, and that's what he told me. And they're still working out their kinks here, but you know, I think there are good things to come here. And the reason why is because there's a nice supported population that lives in this area. I had to wait about 20 minutes on a Sunday morning at around 11 o'clock to get in here, and the dining room was completely packed. I think there are a lot of people here who live here who prefer to come somewhere like this instead of going to Flushing. And yeah, that's a very legitimate reason, because there's hardly any parking in Flushing, and there's a giant parking lot in front of this mall. This mall, I feel, is going to have a lot of good things in the future. When you step inside, there's so many empty spaces, empty storefronts. One day, they're going to fill those up, and hopefully a lot of these businesses will be like food businesses or businesses where people can hang out and have some fun. So having Royal Dim Sum here is a good first step in getting the community to gather in one spot. I should also mention that the restaurant itself, it's actually pretty big. It seems to be very few dim sum carts that are pushed around. When we got here, we saw 1 or 2 dim sum carts, and also the waiters came up to us and asked us what did we want for dim sum, and then they were jotting it down, and they were prepared to go to a little station where they would pick up the dim sum, bring it back on a tray and bring it to our table. But they didn't need to do that, because the moment he took our order, a dim sum cart pulled up, and then he filled our order using the dim sum cart that pulled up. So what I'm saying is that there seems to be more tables here than there are dim sum carts pulling up. So it's actually a pretty crowded space here, even though it's a very big restaurant. They're still working out the kinks, that's all I can say. Thanks for watching the Minute Review Show. I wanted to let everyone know that I recently created a Reddit community. So if you want to go to that community and chat about anything food, any new discoveries that you find, yeah, please go to the community. It's actually on my homepage. So go to my channel's homepage and you'll find the Reddit community. And also, as always, subscribe, like, and tell your friends about this channel if they're coming to New York and want to check out a few restaurants before coming to New York. Tell them to check out my channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you again in my next video. The final check before tip is $79.41.